Okay, this right here is West Street Extension, and today we're going to be doing a video on a phantom or ghost trail that runs up the side of Great Hill. To get to the location you have to be at, and if you're not from this area, from Main Street in Bar Harbor, go down to the bottom of Main Street, down by the town pier, and that street that follows along the water, that is West Street. West Street continues up to Route 3. You cross Route 3 and continue up over the hill, and that's West Street Extension, which we're standing on right now, actually just inside the park. Follow that road until you come to a stop sign inside the park. Okay, when you get up to the top of West Street Extension, you're going to come to the stop sign. If you were to go right, that's going to take you to House Cove and the House Cove Visitor Center. We're going left. That'll take us in the direction of Cadillac Mountain, Jordan Pond, places like that. We're going to head left. And we're going to stop at a pullover. And right in the middle of that pullover, there's going to be an overlook with a sign. That's a fire sign talking about the great fire that swept through the park and the island. And that's where we're headed, for that fire sign at the pullover. And it's not very far up ahead. And this is the pullover right here, the pullover by the fire sign. Talks about the great fire. Let's get some pictures on there. And this is probably one of the better pullovers in the park. Just got some fantastic views of the different mountains. Get the Park Loop Road going down this direction toward Cadillac Mountain, Jordan Pond, Sand Beach, in that direction. Come back this way. We've got Cadillac Mountain, Kibo Mountain, Door Mountain, Champlain Mountain. We've got the ocean down here, and just a great view from here. Now the spot we're going to is right at that fire sign. Look directly across the street from the fire sign, and you have this long ledge. So we're going to the left of that ledge. Right there by those trees. That's where the official discontinued trail up Great Hill is. Starts right there. Now at the base of this, as you start up, what will often happen is like rangers or ridge runners will come along here, and they'll drag dead trees or branches and throw them in here, because they don't want people finding where this trail is, because it is a discontinued trail after all. So we're going to make our way up on top of that ledge that we just saw from the parking lot. Oh. Now here we're making our way up to the top of that ledge that we were looking at from the fire sign. That's where you want to be, is up on top of that ledge. How you get up there doesn't really matter. You just want to be up on that ledge. And here I'm going to pan back to the fire sign right down below. As you can see, we came up at an angle. There's the fire sign. Here are the mountains. And as I turn around here and pan behind me, we're gonna be going in up here where there's this little opening behind us, up in the trees up here. It's actually the only spot that looks like an opening that goes through, so it's just a little opening that goes underneath those pines up there. As you can see, these are called like ghost trails or phantom trails. You can just, it's just like a ghost outline of where it used to go. But you can see it. It's worn down enough, you can see where it goes. It's not nice, wide, and flat like official trails in the park would be, but easy enough to follow. And we're going to continue on through this little piece of woods right here to where it opens up. And just after we went underneath that pine, you can see where it kind of opens up, and you can still see the trail on the ground where it's worn. It's going to come to the base of some granite here. And that's where we turn and start making our way up Great Hill. Now there's where we just came from. You can see the park loop road and the pullover and the fire sign down there. Got the one spot leading up to where we're at. And we're at the base of that granite there. And as you look up, you can have this flat granite that just moves up over the hill. And it's that flat section of granite that we're going to follow, because going to the left is all trees, going to the right is all trees, and right up through the center of the trees is this flat granite, and we're just following that right now. Usually there's some rock piles by now, but again, I said in one of my other videos, there's this little wall that goes on between ridge runners and phantoms, where people that want to keep these trails open come in and put up rock piles, and then the ridge runners come in and take them apart, and right now they're kind of apart. So, but if you come up through here, they may be up by then, I don't know. It's kind of like goes, one week they're up, one week they're down. So, we're going up through here. Okay, that's the view from where we're at right now. Pretty decent view. Where we came from right down there, and as you can see, we just moved right straight up that flat opening. That flat granite, we just made our way up that. And as I pan around, you see there's all woods, there's no place to go here, except for following the flat granite. And right here, the ghost trail picks up again, or the old abandoned trail. It's right up here. And we're going to follow that up. And the trail is pretty easy to see here. Once you get across that flat granite, it just continues up, where it's going to pass another flat section of granite up ahead. But right here you can see it's very easy to follow. It's almost like a little gully that runs down through here. But that's the trail. And in the 1800s, if you ever find a book with old maps in it, in the 1800s, you will find several trails crisscrossing Great Hill. And this was one of them. It went down all the way down to Cliffstone and perhaps the Eagle Lake Road. And it went up to Peak 1. This Great Hill has two peaks. It's like twin peaks. And we're going to Peak 1 today, and maybe another video another day for Peak 2, but the two aren't directly connected. Not officially, anyway. And so we're following this. And these trails are, after the Great Fire, the park discontinued many of the trails in the park, and unfortunately all the trails on Great Hill were discontinued. So the only trails that remain are the phantom ones, or ghost trails. Okay, we're almost at that next section of flat granite up ahead. The trail runs to the left, then circles up on top to the right. You get this nice large boulder up there. Great place to have your picture taken next to. And there's another nice large boulder right there on the mountainside. And we'll continue to work our way up. Now right here, as you get to the top here, you want to make your way toward that boulder that I pointed out. That nice boulder right there. Make your way over in that direction. And there's that boulder right there. Somebody trying to push you down over the mountainside now. Okay. And you got a great view of the mountains from here. Just a lovely view. And what we're going to do from here, we just come to the back side of this where the woods are, or this flat granite. And we're just going to move over here. We don't trip. And right down at the corner, the back of that granite by the woods, is the worn path that goes up into the woods. That part of a, that's why they call it ghost trails. You get little pieces of the trail that show up here and there, and just enough so that you can follow it. Okay, here's where it goes. We just stepped off that flat granite, and now you can really see it. You got the ghost of a trail going right through here. Flat, worn down. And I'll just pan around so you can actually see just how far we've gone. We have not gone very far. There's the mountains, and there's that rock right there that kid was trying to push over. I don't know where he went to, but he's probably up here somewhere. Anyway, we're going to continue to follow this ghost trail up to the peak 1 of Great Hill. And the trail continues to wind up through the trees here. And it's just easy to follow. It's right there. And we're going to continue on up. Now, like I've said earlier, there's usually rock piles coming up here. Right now, we're on that one of those periods where there's not rock piles, because the ridge runners have clearly been through here and removed them. But probably in several days or a week, they'll be back up again. And usually there's a rock pile usually right there and right up there and all along that flat granite we followed. Usually there's rock piles up along there as well. But you don't really need any rock piles. I mean, you can see where the ground is heading up to the top of the peak. Easy enough to follow without rock piles. And right here the trail continues. Nice flat trail. Very easy to see moving up. And the peak is just up ahead. This is a very short hike. Probably take 10 minutes or less to get to the peak from here. This is one of the quickest routes to the top of Great Hill that there is. All the other ghost trails are much longer and take much more time, and they're much more harder to follow. Like I said, there's trails that crisscross this mountain from the Eagle Lake side, the Duckbrook Bridge side. There was trails that went up over the peak 1 and peak 2. There was a trail that once went between the two peaks. And there was a trail that ran almost all the way around the base of Great Hill as well. All discontinued. But the ghosts of those trails will still remain if you look around for them. But like I said, this is the easiest of all the trails to follow up to Great Hill. Still following that well-worn trail up through some white birch and some other trees here, and pines and stuff. And right up ahead, that's the first rock pile I've seen today. Right there. Oh, that's a nice one. That's almost like the ones the park puts up officially. So, that's clearly a phantom wanting to keep this trail going. So, you get your ridge runners, they'll tear them apart. You get the phantoms that come in here. They call them phantoms because they move in and out unseen. And they put the rock piles back up again. And somebody did a really nice job on that one. That's right up by the peak. Now we're up on the peak, and this rock pile right here, with kind of a crooked stick sticking out of it, this is supposed to be the peak right here, the peak marker, but it's seen its better days. This is another thing that the ridge runners will come up here and they'll tear this apart, and others will come up here and they'll rebuild the rock pile, and the ridge runners will come back and they'll tear it apart, and it just goes back and forth, and it's up today. I've seen it a lot better than this, but it's up. It's not exactly on the very peak. The very peak is just beyond. But this is the place where all the loose rocks are. This is where they put the rock pile up. Now this rock pile right here is the actual peak. But I'm going to guess most of those rocks there had to be carried there from off the edges, and it's probably why it's not as large of a pile as the other one that we just took a picture of earlier, but that is the peak right there.